Good evening, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Thursday night. We made it. I'm only like 2 minutes late. Oops. We're doing pretty good this so far, guys. Welcome to the Thursday night show, episode 131. 131 weeks in a row, chat. We've just been knocking it out. We've been crushing it. Rain or shine. We've been doing it on the road everywhere. We've been doing it. That's pretty cool when you think about it. That is pretty cool when you think about, what you're looking at there. In the total in the grand scheme of things, it is so cool. Rain or shine, when we've been on the road or not, we've been here. And I want to thank you guys all for being here. If you guys are here from the start, it's your first time, thank you. Once again, my name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I am a defense attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and obviously we got a lot of criminal-related stuff to talk about tonight. We got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of funny things, and, it's going to be overall a generally fun time, guys. You are going to like tonight's show. We are going to be touching on the saga of Matthew Harris of Unbranded. Well, his saga is done. His saga is done today. And happened while you guys were all working and being productive. So yes, it's Thursday. We're almost to Friday once again, which is always a good thing. And also, we are live tonight on Twitter and Rumble. Guys, Rumble for some reason wasn't working right away. I'm trying to restart it right now, so just bear with me on that. But we will get Rumble reworking right here. And I promise we'll get that going for you, because I know how much Rumble matters to everybody here. Why did that not work? So Rumble should be up and running, chat. It should be ready to go right now. If you guys have not done so, you can do that over on Rumble. And if you guys are also wondering, we are also on tonight, last but not least, Locals. If you guys don't know what Locals is, Locals, everything we wanted Patreon to be. No restrictions on what you could say, as long as you didn't violate the terms of service. There was no political viewpoints being pressed or favored, but obviously with people like Jack who are running it, we didn't have that luxury. A lot of people, including Count Dankula, Sargon, were taken off of Patreon, and now it's really odd to see gun channels who are like, oh my God, Patreon streaming is horrible. I'm like, why did you think they were going to be differently? Anyway, you could do all of that at Locals, and that's at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. It is a great community, guys. It costs you nothing, just like Patreon. It's free to join. We post things up there on the wall and in the community all the time. You could post things there. If you wish to support me, it's $3 a month. With that $3 a month, you get access to the live shows. We do 2 live shows a week. We do a Monday night show and a Thursday night show. So right after this one, we go hang out. And then all the things we can't talk about here or didn't get to here are not necessarily appropriate for here and for this show, we'll address and go hang out over there. It's always a fun time. And that's at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. If you're not sure if you like it, you can use the promo code Booger Sugar. I'm sorry, no, promo code Not Guilty. Booger Sugar doesn't work anymore. Use the promo code Not Guilty. You get 1 month free access. So I hope to see you guys there. Let's see, what do we... Nico says, use the code FOMERLAW for 0% off Locals. Yes. And while we are here, yes, we should bring up one of our sponsors for the night, and that is the Dragon's Treasure. It is a haven for tea and anime lovers. You guys use a promo code CRIMINAL. You will get 10% off your order. Use a promo code CRIMINAL. Very good tea. The tea man loves. Tea man's stuff is great. You'll love it. Give him a shot if you haven't tried it yet. He's got tea for all kinds of things. He's got coffee. Very diverse setup over there. And why is that not coming off my screen? Also, I'd forgotten Locals. We also generally every night, we also have a Thursday night. We have a live chat going during the show. You guys can join that for free. And that's where you guys could post memes and mock me and do things where nobody else could see it, and it follows all the rules. So I do check on that from time to time. So that is also currently up and running over at Locals. So if you guys are interested, like I said, hope to see you there. It's a very fun time. But yes, guys, it's been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a week. We had a assassination attempt. P. Diddy got indicted. I mean, all kinds of stuff was going on. All kinds of stuff went on this week. Very, very interesting week. And we're going to get ready to tackle it all. If you guys are new, we try to give about a couple more minutes to let people filter in just because YouTube is not very good about notifying everyone. And I want to give everybody a shot when it comes to that. So let's see here. No, don't do this. Also, over on Rumble, okay, guys, Shade Chaser and Job Well Done are hanging out over there. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know it works, guys. All right. What else is everybody talking about here? Peg says, I love this chat. Yes. Annie Lance says, I got Jimmy John's in anticipation of a Nick stream tonight. My favorite celebratory sandwich. Oh, I understood that reference. Kid Mudgeon says, Kurt says hi. And you know what? Kurt is a great guy. If you guys don't know him, Uncivil Law over there. Kurt does really good work, guys. If you haven't been paying attention to him lately, you really should. Very good legal analysis. And, that and you got a wit that I think is a very good acquired taste, but very witty as well. So you guys can find him over there on Uncivil Law. Tell him this I said hello. The preferred coffee potentially criminal is the Pippa blend. Let the face connect store. Yes. No. I'm good. All right, let's see. Oh, we got the Uncivil Ray. Kurt sent us. Well, guys, thank you for being here. That's getting clipped, yes. All right, guys. So here we go. It is time to, we're going to get started here. I think there's actually quite a few people in here right now. We're going to get started. Internet says it can't stay here. It's at 720p. Okay. Sure. I'm not sure what that means, but all right. Oh, and yes, people are in the locals chat. Good. I always want to make sure because I feel bad sometimes when it's not set up. Why is that? Oh, gotta kill my email. All right, there we go. Unbread the like button bigots. Yes, people want me in 1080p. Well, you gotta pay StreamYard to like broadcast in 1080p on top of everything else. You want a shitload for that, so maybe we'll go back to it. I tried it. People didn't seem to notice too much. Mavka says, I only watch it 480p like a Chad. See, I remember when 480p was like the shit. Go back to like 2008 and get Call of Duty on the Xbox One and it's like run at 480p and you were like a god. But times change. All right, so we're going to get started, chat. It is time to roll. It is time to get going. Here we go, chat. Here we go. Matthew Harris. If you guys remember Nick reading through Unbreaded, well, he had his day in court today. If you don't know who Matthew Harris is, this is a very good breakdown of it. He was a professor. Well, he was like he was in his doctorate work at UCLA in philosophy, and basically had a mental break and started threatening to kill everybody, like everybody. And he had recorded himself being crazy and saying things. And there's 2 little clips of him saying stuff that are kind of weird and kind of funny.
Touchdown. Paper unbreaded.
So that's one of the things he was famous for saying. On paper, unbreaded. And hold on one second. I have a doggo issue. Sorry, guys. Clive is being a little bit of a bad dog there. Growling at Laney. And this is another, gem of Matthew Harris here. This one's an interesting one because I don't think a lot of people have seen this clip.
To never be able to say the honest truth defeats the purpose. Do you like to be enslaved?
Online post by former UCLA lecturer Matthew Harris.
Do you like to be enslaved? That's a very good question. Do you like to be enslaved? And he also had some other comments here that are hilarious.
Recently tried to buy a gun, a definite escalation from his post while playing video games.
I don't let anyone determine the value of my own statements.
According to
So, those are some of the statements he made, and he showed up, and he was getting ready to kill everybody. And Bifront says he made very valid points, honestly. Yes, in his 800-page manifesto known as Death Sentences, where literally just filled with racial and ethnic slurs, chat. I mean, it was really impressive. I know Nick used to read it. It was a hoot to read through at times, just based on what was going on. But yes, he lost his mind. And because of that, he got arrested by the feds. And arrested by the feds, he was facing multiple federal charges. And he was incompetent. He was incompetent to stand trial. He was sent away for a fairly long time to be medicated. And just recently, he was deemed competent to stand trial. Well, his defense attorneys came up with the strategy of trying him not guilty by reason of insanity. And that trial happened today. So in the lead up to that trial, we have a couple different things here. And just so you guys can see these, he did a couple different things. He ended up waiving his jury trial. And he was informed of his right. He waived his right to a jury trial under federal law. And, this is his. If you guys have never seen his autograph, if you guys wanted his autograph, you could find it on Pacer and you could print it out and put it on your wall. And then he acknowledges he has the right to a jury trial under the Sixth Amendment. Oh, God dang it. It's right to jury trial under the Sixth Amendment. So he has a right to a jury trial under the Sixth Amendment, and he's waiving it. So this is his waiver of a jury trial. And he is taking care of it. He did this all back in August. And we then get to, and this is a very unique thing here, because the right to have a jury trial or a bench trial is not always the same. In some states, it's entirely the decision of the defendant. For example, here in Ohio, it is the defendant's purview whether or not they have a bench trial or a jury trial. The prosecution gets no say in that. In some states, the prosecution has to approve of it. And then here, the feds made a joint recommendation. And they filed a joint motion for a bench trial. So back in June of 2022, Harris filed a notice of insanity defense. In October, he filed for a competency hearing. In January of 2023, the competency hearing was held and the court made a preliminary finding of incompetency. So initially, he was not competent to stand trial. They sent him to the Federal Medical Center in Massachusetts for evaluation and treatment. On May 30th, they filed a joint notice and updating his situation. In the end of May last year, the court ordered them to file a status report. And by February, and it took this how long it took, the parties received the evaluation findings that he was now competent. It took a long time to medicate him and make him competent. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it takes a really long time to make people competent. Trump won. Yes, this is that Matthew Harris. Sometimes it takes a while to be restored. And that's the term. It's called competency that's get restored. So you're deemed incompetent but restorable. So what happened from here? Well, they talk about what did the court do from there. So the court held a status hearing. They determined he was competent and could proceed to trial. So they extended the speedy trial clock to September 21st. And then the government also wanted to have him evaluated independently for the insanity defense. And that's what you get to do. If you make an argument that, hey, I was insane at the time, and here's a shrink that says I'm crazy and was crazy, the government gets to have one of their own shrinks evaluate and determine for themselves. They get to have their own opinion. Their own expert gets to look at you and determine whether or not you were insane at the time. And it was set to begin on September 10th with a 4-day trial to commence on September 16th. On July 11th, the government's evaluation was received. And now because of that, they're asking for a bench trial. And what are they doing here? So they're setting aside a partial day on September 16th or 17th during the jury trial because they've made a decision and said, Your Honor, it's only going to take us a very little bit of time. And they talk about what they're going to do here and why they're doing this. The parties also asked to submit a stipulated set of facts that are agreed upon by both parties and proposed findings of fact and conclusions of law by August 12th. I've tried to look for these. They are under seal and restricted. We cannot look at them. Now, why would you stipulate to a set of facts? Well, remember, when you're challenging a case under not guilty by reason of insanity, you're not saying you didn't do it. You're basically agreeing with everything except that you were not in your right mind or able to know right from wrong or whatever standard of insanity you're using in that jurisdiction. Everything else is true. Everything else happened. You're not contesting that fact. So that's the difference here. And that's why they're doing a stipulated set of facts and they're doing proposed findings of fact and conclusions of law. They already know a bunch of the issues and they already have any idea of what they're trying to argue. And that's why they told the judge, we just need to narrow it down to the thinnest issue of was he insane at the time? Everything else has been agreed to. They point out the defense anticipates 2 exhibits, the 2 evaluations regarding whether he was insane at the time of the crime without objection by the government. An evaluation performed by a private evaluator the court doesn't have, and the evaluation that's already on the record. The government's not objecting to the admissions of these exhibits at the bench trial. The government will have no exhibits, and the parties do not anticipate calling witnesses. Think about that part, guys. They are not going to call witnesses. They're not going to call witnesses. Isn't that pretty interesting? How do you have a trial where you haven't called witnesses? You haven't offered evidence. Well, you offer exhibits, and you're stipulating to their admissibility, and you're already agreeing to stipulated facts. Well, you don't necessarily need a witness. You don't necessarily need everything that's going on there, right? I mean, that makes sense, chat. And it's kind of interesting. This is a very economical use of the trial court's time. It's very interesting in what they do there. Hold on here. Why is this not working? Oh, that's why this is being difficult. Why is this? Why is this being ridiculous here? So, anyways, Harris agreed to all of that, but I think it shows you guys just how interesting this entire situation is, that everybody's agreed that we are going to avoid some of these more difficult questions. Now, if the court grants this motion, the parties will ask the court to make a determination on the existence of insanity at the time of the offense. The parties will not contest that the defense is able to meet their burden by clear and convincing evidence at the time of the commission of the acts constituting the offense. And that's notice that's a very they further acknowledge that. And once again, guys, this is so interesting that they do this. I've never seen this before in a trial, like that they've all agreed to everything. It's pretty cool. They don't normally do this. They don't normally do this. Now, somebody wanted to ask what he has been charged with. Hold on, why is it not popping up? I had it set up. We'll get to the charges in a second. And they say that they're pointing out that was Matthew Harris as a result of a severe mental disease or defect, unable to appreciate the nature and quality of the wrongfulness of his acts. The parties asked the court to make these findings pursuant to the federal rules of criminal procedure. And this is for the U.S. Attorney's Office right here. And then this is for Matthew Harris's attorneys. So the court had its hearing. And it had its hearing today. And here's what we get. Where are my suspenders? Well, I got done early today. I got home early today. So I was able to slip into something more comfortable. Oh, we need to take down the promo code. Take that off screen. So United States of America versus Matthew Harris. And this is the judge's conclusions of law and findings of fact. This is the judge's way of spelling out exactly on the record how she feels and why she feels about things. So on September 19th, the court considered the stipulations for a bench trial from the parties. The court also considered the two evaluations that were filed separately under restriction and whether or not he was insane at the time charged that the acts in the present case were committed. So the court adopts paragraphs 1 through 24 of the stipulations for bench trial. Once again, we don't have access to it. I can't download it, chat. I'm sorry. Which sucks, because I really want to know what they're stipulating to. The court finds by clear and convincing evidence that at the time of the commission of the acts constituting the offenses charged in counts 1 through 4 of the indictment, the defendant, as a result of a severe mental disease or defect, was unable to appreciate the nature and quality of the wrongfulness of his acts. The court finds the defendant not guilty only by reason of insanity of counts 1 through 4 of the indictment pursuant to 18 U.S.C. 4242. Now, once again, chat, we go through this. When you get found not guilty by reason of insanity, it's not over. It is not over. What's the problem? Well, is the volume lower than usual? Shouldn't be. I've got it up all the way. Is this better? So what does this mean for him? Well, just because you did that, well, now the court has to do something with you. Because you're so crazy, in such a danger, you don't even know what you're doing. They can't just let you roam the streets. So as you can see, what's next? He's been committed to the custody of the Attorney General of the United States. You know, that's not a good ending. That's not a good ending. That's not a good ending for him. And it's further ordered, the Attorney General of the United States shall hospitalize the defendant for treatment in a suitable facility and abide with the provisions of review and release set forth in 18 U.S.C. 4243. These provisions include whether the evaluation of whether it would create a substantial risk of bodily injury to harm to people of another due to the present mental disease or defect. So he's not out of the woods yet, chat. He's got, he could potentially be stuck in a mental hospital forever. I mean, that really sucks. And they explain to you what happens there because it's the hospitalization of an NGRI person. So he shall be committed to a suitable facility as he's eligible for release pursuant to Part E. So what's Part E say? He's going to be stuck for a while till they evaluate him. He doesn't just get to leave when he wants to. So he's going to have a hearing. And at that hearing, they're going to determine whether or not he's insane. And this hearing shall take place not later than 40 days following the verdict. So he's got 40 days, and they're going to make a determination on whether they keep him. So, and remember, with respect to any other offense, the person has the burden of proof by a preponderance of the evidence. So Matthew Harris has a preponderance of the evidence standard to get out. But if it's allegations of if there was serious damage to property or people, it's a clear and convincing standard. Remember, preponderance is just 51 to 49. If he had actually harmed someone, it would be this clear and convincing, which is like 66%. So thankfully for him, he's not completely screwed here. Stacy says, do we have a diagnosis? He does. We're not allowed to see it. All of this, if you go on Pacer and look at his case, guys, everything is under seal. Everything. And here, I'll show you real quick. Also, if you guys were not aware, his charges were threats in interstate commerce, false statement to a firearm dealer, and possession of ammunition by a prohibited person. But he also got charged with transmission of threats in interstate commerce. So if you guys notice, there are a lot of things you're going to notice here very quickly that start getting restricted document. And keep going. Restricted document, restricted document, restricted document. Boom, boom. All these are restricted. I don't know. Like, there's all kinds of stuff we don't get to see. Restricted documents. So all the mental health evaluations, those would be private anyway. Those would not be something we could ever get to see. But a bunch of this is going to be restricted. A bunch of this we're never going to get to see. Like, these are all restricted. You know, there's more restricted psychiatric report. And he just keeps going. Look at this. All the restricted psychiatric report again. You know, more restricted reports and documents. We don't get to see them. We don't get to see them. So that's it. We'll never know what happened to him. Maddie B says, this is HIPAA. This isn't HIPAA. Remember, the government can't violate HIPAA. HIPAA's for private people. No, this is not HIPAA. This is just, these are documents he has a right to privacy on. Because he is the defendant. You don't have a right to those documents. These are, it's privileged information for the purposes of the court. So it's not HIPAA, because prior to HIPAA, you wouldn't be able to get the mental evaluations either. You shouldn't be able to. J-Rex, I actually feel bad for him, yeah. So he's going to be stuck in the mental hospital, guys. Like, it's at times it sounds good. Until it's better. Beats going to prison. I certainly don't disagree, but whew, that's a heck of a way to go, man. That's a heck of a way to be dealing with this. So, you know, good luck, Matt. Hope you can figure this out, because I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to work for you. Dewey says, restricted. The government's hiding the best memes from us. Well, definitely they are. 100% they're hiding it. Yes, 100% they're hiding everything from us. They deny us. They deny us so much. Patty F saying over in locals, he only feels bad sometimes when he forgets us. Well, at least you're honest and you understand. Porcelain Thunder says, why could he be in a mental facility and a prison? We need to combine the two now. Yes, well, the federal mental institutions are that way. Don't worry. He's going to be stuck in a jail. Kamala Harris found it saying that would be hilarious if they put down the wrong name on there. Now, with that, moving on from one guy who's got his legal problems with the feds to another guy who's got legal problems with the feds, P. Diddy. Now, if you guys were not aware, Diddy has his case. We covered it earlier this week. in the Southern District of New York. He is charged with violating the Mann Act. He is charged with transportation of women and also underage girls for sexually related purposes, and also RICO, and they are going to RICO the shit out of him. We covered his indictment when it came out on, I believe it was Monday afternoon. We looked through the whole thing. It is very interesting how they detail it and what they put together. And currently, Diddy is in the same jail that Jeffrey Epstein was held in. He's being held without bail. And yesterday, he had another bail hearing, and he appeared with his attorneys. His bail has been denied because he is such a flight risk, because of the nature of the charges. Depending on what he gets convicted of, Diddy can be looking at life in prison, or at least 25 to 30 years in prison minimum. So things don't look good for Diddy. That's the basic situation right now. Like I said, we covered the indictment already. We're not going to go through it again because it is a little bit long, and I'll be releasing that video tomorrow and updating everybody on it. Now, what also happened in Diddy's world is this nonsense here with the $100 million lawsuit that was made for Diddy. No, I don't think there were Baldos at the home. But I will point out for the record, the FBI alleges that they found nearly, approximately 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube in his California house. That's a lot of lube. It's a lot of lube. But we talked about this last week, or I think the week before. Diddy was sued by a guy in Detroit, or a guy in Michigan, who is serving out a very lengthy prison sentence for raping women and sexually abusing them, among other things. And he sued Diddy for $100 million, alleging Diddy diddled him as well. Well, Diddy never responded to the lawsuit, so the guy moved for default judgment. And remember, when you don't respond to something, the court can then file a default judgment against you because you haven't responded. You have deemed to have defaulted on the action, and the party that's opposing you, the party that filed the action, can seek to move to have their action, their damages, and whatever they want heard and accepted by the court. So that happened in Diddy's team of attorneys, and they did a good job of this. And as I said, this was likely to happen. Got the $100 million judgment dismissed. Now, how do they do that? Well, the basic ways, and I mentioned this before, the biggest thing is they're going to claim we never got service. We were never told about this. Nobody knew about this until it came out on the news. That's not how this works. We're supposed to be served and then have a chance to respond. So Diddy and his attorneys got the judge to take the $100 million judgment and reverse it. They filed an 83-page motion, which, yeah, you got to spend a lot of time getting the judge to vacate a judgment and set it aside. It is not easy to do. It takes a little bit of time. But if you can point out that you were not properly served in accordance with the state law, well, then that voids a lot of the issues, because if you haven't been served, the court can't move forward. Now, it's funny because P. Diddy's team did not have a comment, but they were unable to connect with the guy in prison who filed this lawsuit, Derek Lee Cardello Smith, because, well, he's in prison. So they weren't able to contact him, which isn't a shock. Diddy's attorneys alerted the court of alleged inconsistencies with the proofs of service, and they alleged that he had altered and forged documents necessary to the court to get that judgment, which I guess is not really a shocker. This guy has a history of being a vexatious litigant in prison, so this isn't the first time of things. But they argue and they point out that he sued Diddy in June, allegedly he was drugged and assaulted by Diddy during a 1997 party in Detroit. He claims that Diddy touched him on his left butt cheek and offered him a spiked drink. And after having the drink and drinking his drink, he said he passed out. And when he came to, he saw Diddy having sex with a woman, and Diddy yelled at him, "I did this to you too," according to the lawsuit. So They point out that the plaintiff, Cardella Smith, had been sentenced 3 times in Minnesota after ending pleas of no contest. They criminal sexual conduct, kidnapping, and criminal sexual conduct during the commission of a felony. So he's just a peach of a guy, chat. And yes, they do point out in Diddy's attorneys, Mark Agnifilo, dubbed Cardella Smith a convicted felon and sexual predator. Well, I mean, like, we should probably hold our horses on who we're going to call a convicted felon and a sexual predator, because I have a feeling you might have to be calling more than one person that very quickly. Very, very quickly. I don't know how that's going to work. Be very careful. Be very careful, counsel. So, in addition to setting aside the pricey default, the judge set aside the temporary restraining order that was requested, and the case is set for a hearing next month. So, Diddy's still stuck in federal jail in Brooklyn pending trial, and this is even after, yes, as it is brought up in the article, his attorneys tried to post a $50 million bond, and the court said, nope, still not good enough, chat. A $50 million bond, still not good enough. Lioness says 784 dildos were recovered from Diddy's raid. Okay, now you're just being silly. It was 783. Come on, be accurate. Oh, let's see here. Amateur Iconoclast says, apparently I'm not allowed to give memberships anymore. Oh, that sucks. Unknown Hero says for $2, there's a new prosecutor in the Karen Reed case, or no. Yes, there is. There's a new guy that's been brought on. Looks like they're just realizing that they're kind of outgunned now at this point. So it's certainly going to help. It's certainly going to help the state. Patty F says Ted Kaczynski ended up being correct about a lot of things as well. Yes, he did. But there was also, yes, technology could be bad and enslave us. Okay, well, the next step is not we just start mailing out bombs to people. That's like step 10. We're still on step 2. We got a ways to go. And Oweezy, I hope I answered your question about what Matthew Harris was on trial for. Primarily making threats and claiming to come to California to kill everybody. Stephen Cooper says, I'm glad I didn't take PTO to go see Matthew Harris's trial. Yeah. You got to be careful about this stuff. You got to try to look ahead. But I'm glad you didn't waste your time, because that would suck. That'd be kind of, embarrassing. You'd be like, hey, guys, I'm going to the trial. Then you get there and you're like, damn it. Although it's federal court, you could have sat there and done like the little sketches. That'd been kind of fun. Debbie says, I could do without the anti-Semitic chat, to be honest. Yeah, well, they are certainly that. They are certainly that. J-Rock says, we should at least call Diddy Sean. Out of respect, it is his Christian name. Yes. Need for Sneed says, do you think there were Baldos found at the compound? Maybe. You never know. You never know. Yes. Benjamin Lewis says, after he drinked his drank. Hubbleson says, yes, Diddy wanted to take 50 Cent shopping. And Diddy realized that was his way of kind of sinking his claws into him and grooming him. Diddy's like, I ain't letting you take me shopping. And then Winter Soldier says, at least Diddy lubes before he drills mud without a permit. Who says he used the lube? Who knows? Maybe he just dumped it in a pile. We don't really know. That's the worrisome part about Diddy. Okay. Now, moving on to somebody who's had a better day with the federal government. And I give this once again, I put this up on Twitter earlier this week. This is a 475 out of 10 about how to keep it real. Rabbit 6 says, can you get $2 a cans of lube at Stoney's? I don't know about $2 cans of lube, but you can get $2 domestic cans every Thursday night at Stoney's. Guys, it is still nice outside. Enough time for you to fire up the bike and head out to 1580 Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota, where Stoney's is the place to be tonight. Once again, chat, $2 domestic cans. You can't beat it. Nice and iced down, only at Stoney's. And Pepsi Man says, could you survive 5 nights at Diddy's? I don't know. I did. No, the question is, could Diddy survive 5 nights with me? He'll be the one running from the house screaming. Natasha says for $5, Diddy will have a good time with R. Kelly in prison. No baby oil needed. Well, here's the funny thing. Diddy and R. Kelly were like, Diddy produced one of R. Kelly's albums, at least more than once. So they can make an album from prison. It'll be kind of cute. It'll be really neat. It'll be really neat. But moving on to somebody who had a different time with the federal government. This is a guy named Jeremy Kauffman. If you've never seen him before, he shitposts here on Twitter. And he had made a comment previously the day before about, I believe he made one about Kamala Harris. And yeah, this is him coming out the door of his house. And this is not necessarily the way I might have done it, but it's a way to hit. It's a way to do it, chat. It's a way to do it.
Hey, how can I help you?
Hey there, Jeremy.
Yeah.
How are you?
Who are you?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Can you give your full name, please?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Is that sufficient to identify as the only one O'Donnell affiliated with the FBI?
In New Hampshire, yes.
Could you please state your full name, sir?
Could you please stop recording?
No. It's First Amendment right.
Okay.
What's your name, sir?
Could you stop recording?
Absolutely not. You can show me your name and identification, or I'm going to go back inside my house.
Big thing, chat. Do not ever not let the feds record. Always record around the feds. The feds don't record things. They use inside that little file thing. They're going to have what's called a 302 form. If you guys remember the whole Mike Flynn saga, they take that 302 and that's their narrative because they don't use recordings. They use their written notes, which can then get revised and edited over the course of many months to say whatever the hell they want to say. And then they get to waltz into court and say, ha ha, this form is incontrovertible proof of what was documented. Whereas you could walk in with the tape and say, nope. So, yes, there's a reason why the feds don't like it. There is a reason why the feds don't like it. Real quick, what are you guys saying over here on we're going to keep going. So as he keeps going here, just listen to him go. Listen to him go.
Okay. I don't really want to broadcast my...
Oh, this is going out right after.
Well, I don't really want to broadcast my identity. Then why are you here, man? Are you some sort of counter intel spook? What exactly did you do, Jack Bauer? I don't want to broadcast my identity. Why? So people don't, throw rocks at your house?
After you guys walk away.
So that's why I'm not going to...
So you can show me your name or ID. You can walk away.
We just want to talk to
I'm not going to talk to people
Don't talk to the cops, chat.
who claim to be federal agents unless they can show me identification.
Okay, well, you see our badges.
I need to see the
Badge doesn't mean anything. Anybody can buy a badge online. Anybody can carry a gun. Do they have FBI credentials?
your full name on that badge?
No.
I'd like to see something with your full name or I'm not going to talk to
I
you.
prefer you not to broadcast.
This will be going online as soon as you walk away.
Well, all I want to do is talk to you about a post that was made, and if you
Well,
happen to be the one that made the
I want to talk to you about you guys coming here. Say you make a salary of, I don't know what, low 100K? You guys making 6 figures? Factor in 50% expenses, overhead, maybe 100% expenses. Talking about burning a couple $100 an hour just here, let alone all the time you guys are spending to investigate something that you know is not against the law, right? Like
So
you're
I'm
familiar
saying
with.
it is. We just
So then
wanted to
why
make
would you
sure-
come?
Because we wanted to make sure that there weren't any. other
No, you're
threats.
coming because you're part of a regime.
So he made a comment, and they're like, we're coming just to check. So they agree there's no threat. They agree there's no threat. These two brave men, the bravest of the brave right here, chat. The bravest of the brave coming to protect America, chat. These brave men, the sheepdogs.
Does this kind of thing when you know laws aren't being broken. And that's an embarrassment, man. Didn't you guys read the Constitution? Do you not believe in America? Like, how do you do your jobs and go home?
We appreciate it.
You're walking away. Because nothing we did is against the law, and you guys are fuckheads that try to act like bullies. And I hope you go home and are embarrassed. You can't even say your name on camera because you know that what you're doing is embarrassing. You know Americans that believe in the Constitution think you're laughable. And you go home and you think about what you did today. Go home and think about it, you cowards. Drive away.
Now, see, here's the thing. You can tell them off, but I would suggest minimizing your communications with the government, period.
Drive away.
Thank you for your time, sir.
You're not welcome. You should be embarrassed. Embarrassing. You guys are embarrassing.
Yes, so is that the best way you can tell the feds off? I don't know if that's the best way of doing it, but certainly it works. Like I said, less is more, chat. Less is more. Less is more. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I would not recommend going down this road that he did, but it's your right to do so. Not to announce, is anything in particular you'd recommend? Yes. I don't answer any questions without counsel present. Have a nice day, sir, and walk away. That's the easiest way to do it. You get into these long diatribes. It's easy for you to fuck up or get in some situation where you put yourself in a hole. Just say, sorry, I don't answer questions without a attorney present. Sorry, have a nice day. Thank you. Bye. Like if they came to my door tomorrow morning, I'd say, hi, agents. Yes, sorry, I don't answer questions without an attorney present. Have a nice day. Take care. Old Line Red says, I probably would have used fewer curse words. Well, yeah, you can do that if you want. And, High Plays Drifter, you're saying, fuck that, fight back. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. I personally wouldn't do it that way, but that's your right to do it if you want to do it that way. I think it's easier just say, sorry, not answer questions. I want an attorney. Have a good one. Luke says, don't overcomplicate it. That's how you fuck up. I mean, yeah, and that's the issue. The more elaborate you get, the easier you're going to walk yourself into a hole. Sign language is the proper way. Yes. Plead the Fifth says, I do not speak to feds unless my attorney, Nick Ricada, is present. Ooh, you're a funny guy. So, don't do it, chat. Don't do it. And this is another little Twitter story here, and this is a little more lighthearted, and I think we need a little bit of a palate cleanser. This is a little bit more funny. So a zoo in Canada, they were using, they had pandas, and these were the pandas they were using. These were their pandas. Aaron, we're going to get to that story. Don't worry, I promise. Hey, Clyde, come here, bud. Come here, buddy. Come in. Come here. Hey. Hey, come here. Clyde. Come on up. Clyde, hey. Hey, here you go. Good boy. All right, chat. We are going to say, because Clyde is a bit chow-chow here, do you see a resemblance? Do you see a resemblance in those dogs? Clyde's a little chow-chow, among other things. Yes, the Temu pandas. The doggo lets. Clyde is a panda, yes. Salty Bassoon says, I know pandas, and that is not a panda. A doggo cam lets Clyde sleep, yes. China owns all the pandas. Yes, they do. Oh, Luke says that's Clyde in a minstrel show. Clyde's not that fat or bushy. That's a big dog. Yes, it's a chow chow. Benjamin Lewis says my son said that looks like a dog. Yes, it is. Well, so they set this zoo up claiming they had these. And they had a couple of them. They did this to attract visitors. And you can see. And here are the fucking pandas running around. Panda. These are Haitian pandas, chat. Rare Haitian pandas. So what happened here? Well, the zoo in China got caught. They got caught. Everybody thought this was bullshit. Well, they ended up getting caught, and they got caught because here you go. This is from the past weekend. I guess it was really hot in China. So yes, have you ever seen a panda panting like a dog? And apparently one of these pandas started barking at people, which really kind of threw them off. Which really threw everybody off. Yes, they're not lazy enough to be pandas. Yes. Super Wiener says this is the motherfucking super idol. Me meow me meow me ma 105 dog. Jeez. Michael says the public was fooled for years. Yes. They're in the labor camps now. Yes, that is a sad part. That is a sad part. And yes, they're more active than regular pandas are. But yes, it's you can see them just wandering around. But yes, they're like, we're so sorry. These are not real pandas. Actual pandas need IVF to reproduce. Yes. Real question is the dog safer in China or Haiti? I know. That's the thing. Those elite Haitian pandas, a true endangered species. And yes, High Plains Drifter says Clyde Coin to the moon. Yes. Clyde Coin is always to the moon, chat. It never stops. It is all gas and no brakes on the Clyde Coin train. You want 10x? You want 1,000x? No. Be a real G. Get 1,000,000x. Clyde Coin's how you do it. I'll take you there. I'll take you into that rarefied air, chat. G-Rock says, no, I want one. Those are well-fed Haitian pandas. Yes. Scott says, I'm heavily invested in Clyde Coin. Yes. Buy the dip, chat. Buy the dip. For those of you out there who are new, we really don't have a coin named after Clyde. It's a bit of a joke. So the pandas are
starting
a whole different thing there. Benjamin Martin is like, I'm not selling. I know it's not working, chat, but yes, the Wish.com pandas are hanging in there. Dweez. Oh, that's a nice little doggo. That's a cute pupper. All right. So moving on from there has been a lot of issues down in Florida with Volusia County, Sheriff Chitwood, who is famous for arresting people who make threats to him online, and he gets interstate warrants enforced against them. Well, he has been taking the school shooting threats very seriously this year. And he's making sure you understand he ain't joking around in chat.
Oh, this is absolutely out of control, and it ends now. Parents, do your job. Don't let Sheriff Chitwood raise your kids. Go talk to the families who have lost a loved one in a school shooting. These little knuckleheads think it's funny. Go talk to those parents and see how funny this is. It's not. We're going to come in.
I mean, sometimes it might be funny. There's got to be at least one of them who chuckles. Got to be at least one.
Get you, and we're going to put you out for public embarrassment. And I know of a set of parents right now that they're looking at $11,000 each because somebody's paying this bill.
Today is September
Yeah, but that's not going to be the parents. It doesn't work that way.
13th, and we're not having a good day in Volusia County. So far, 54 tips have come in through Fortify, Florida, talking about school shootings. All of them have been deemed bogus. We have 2 people in custody. We have another person who we're investigating and probably will take into custody. I can't say this clear. You don't stand up on an airplane and yell hijack. You don't walk into a movie theater and yell fire. And you don't get online and post.
And that was the funny part because they set up a tip line and kids went on there and fucking flooded it with bullshit threats. It's like that's thinking outside the box, chat. I don't condone that either.
Posted, you're going to shoot up a school. It's going to get your ass sent to jail. And now, for you parents out there, today's hoax cost around $21,000. There's 2 people in custody. We're coming after you. And starting Monday, your little cherub, we're going to start publishing his face and doing perp walks with him when we take him into custody. And then we're going to show pictures of you, the parents, because you don't want to raise your kid. Sheriff Chitwood's going to raise them. So be ready to handle what's about to come down starting Monday. We've had 207 school threats since school has started. That is unacceptable. We've had 7 in custody. We had somebody try to bring a gun into a football game. This is not a joke. You think it's a joke, you're going to find
A lot of people think it's a fucking joke.
Find your ass in handcuffs, and you're going to find your ass being paraded out in front of the news media behind me, and your parents are going to be filmed as they come to pick you up. So parents, get your kids in line, or your checkbook's going to hurt, your pride's going to hurt.
See, I don't still think they can charge the parents for the cost of these things. I don't think that's going to be legal.
I promise.
Because when kids incur court costs, that's never the parent's responsibility to pay.
Oh, this is.
So he's getting all big aggro and mad. Sheriff Chitwood ain't taking no shit. So he did do the perp walk of 2 kids. Now in Florida, because they're felonies, you can publish the faces of juveniles. So this is legal. Now, I don't know how ethical perp walking him is, but for right now, he's getting away with it.
Parents, do your job. Don't let Sheriff Chitwood raise your kids. This is absolutely ridiculous. Go talk to the families who have lost a loved one in a school shooting. These little knuckleheads think it's funny. Go talk to those parents and see how funny this is.
Think you made a wise decision today? Oh man, you gotta be better than that. Your life's not over, but it's just starting, man. You kids have to start thinking, and when you go to school, it's just focus on school. That's it. Okay.
You see, chat? That's good advice. When you're in the school, front sight post alignment. Focus on your objectives. I think that's what he meant. When you're in the school, focus. Front and rear sights aligned. Press the trigger. Don't pull. What a disaster of a haircut. Yeah, well, there's that too. His Minnesota accent is hilarious. Yeah. Huh.
Be careful walking. It's gonna be.
And have a seat. All right. We're ready for you. We're gonna come get you. I'm gonna process you, all right? You have any questions, man? Okay.
So this is his big plan of saying like, "Oh, Ro, you don't want to be caught. This is bad. Oh, Maddie's saying this is gay. Don't worry, it gets really gay in a second. It gets worse. So in response to all this nonsense, Sheriff Shitwood showed off what they had seized in a raid. And yes, this is what he seized in a raid here, chat. This is a raid from one of the children. Oh my God, look at all these guns, chat. Look at all those guns. These guns, it's so serious. Look at it, chat. There's a SCAR, an MPX. There's a couple of different guns. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Oh, wait, they have orange tips. They're airsoft. Look, that's not a real gun. It's a clear gun, chat. It's a Glock 7. It's the porcelain handgun made in Germany. It costs more than you make in a month. Oh. But look, they have yellow tips on them. Tip. Look, if AK with an orange tip. Why is it being difficult? There we go. You can see it. And also, apparently, this is... And the killer left a notebook, chat. The killer left a notebook. Look at his book of notes. Look at his book of notes here, chat. It looks like it was scribbled out by a 4-year-old. And then look at that collection of swords. And if you guys have never been around, well, I'm not white trash, but I identify with this stuff as a kid. Think about all these swords. They look scary, don't they? Yeah, well, all those swords are not sharp and are made out of the most garbage metal possible. That's basically Chinese pot metal. Those swords won't take an edge. Those swords are a bigger threat if I swung them like a baseball bat at people. Yes, they're Chinese swords from the mall. You think those must be plastic airsoft knives? Very well could be. Anyway, Sheriff Chitwood saved all these, and he showed them off for some reason. You know, as he said, he promised, we just arrested a middle school student, and he had a lit rest of names and targets. He says it was all a joke. And he points out, at the house, the deputies recovered airsoft guns, fake ammunition, knives, swords, and other weapons he was showing off to other students on video. And this is the 11-year-old who did it. Okay, great. So what does this actually do for us right now? Because all I see is a sheriff who, instead of parading the kids around and saying, here's what they did, look at all of his toys. Woo! This doesn't accomplish anything. This is what I was talking to Bob Mata about with Defense Diaries. This shows me a man who's not being serious. Sheriff Chitwood is chasing clout. Look how serious and dangerous it was. You know why he put all this crap out here? Because he would have looked like a Yahoo if this was merely just a notebook with some names listed in it. Nobody would have been afraid. So he's got to put stuff that looks like real guns and swords to try to scare people. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So no, I'm not impressed with that. I am not impressed with that nonsense. I am not impressed with that nonsense at all. But anyways, yeah, there's a kid. Yes, and Yam is right. He's like, yes, there have been a credible threat of violence as he points to the pile of toys. And I think that's a fair, that is a very fair point. I'll admit, that's a whole armory of airsoft for an 11-year-old. It is. Holy shit, I wish I had that. Like, I wish I had toys like the toy guns that were available when I was 11 years old. I wish we had crap like that. I wish I had a collection of swords like that as an 11-year-old. That would have been epic. Absolutely epic. But they don't, c'est la vie. C'est la vie. Is there a GoFundMe for the kid? Jassy Joe says it kind of shows an obsession an 11-year-old has. The parents not paying attention. I'm gonna say this as a former 11-year-old. That would have been so cool as an 11-year-old to have all that stuff. Oh my god. If I had a friend that had all that stuff, I'd think he is the coolest kid ever. That is so cool. I mean, like that's still not that's pretty righteous. I look at that, I'm like, that's not bad. But no, like it's an 11-year-old boy. That's the kind of shit they're into. He's playing like Fortnite and Call of Duty all the time. So, Speedy Gonzalez says, how can they post the photo? Because it's a felony offense. Even though it's a delinquency, it's a felony level delinquency. They can post his photo under Florida law, apparently. I'm going to read all the cringe comments on top of those posts. So hilarious. Sure. Yeah. And Bella says, you might not be impressed, but that kid is worrisome. And you know, here's the deal. If that kid's worrisome, get him into treatment. Show off the notebook. Show off the real things. But seizing all of his toys and, it's one thing you want to take all the toys from him. Like, I don't want you making threatening pictures again. Fine. Take them. Put them in a box and keep them in the evidence room. Laying them out there like you busted John Dillinger and Timothy McVeigh is not the answer. You want to parade the kid around? Fine. Public shaming works. But putting all those toys and weapons out there to give people who are going to give it a cursory glance, they're going to be scared. People are going to get horrified. Oh my God, those kids are running around with assault rifles. That's what that did here. That's why he did that. That is all meant to get people to think this kid had access to real guns and real weapons when he clearly didn't. They could have just showed us the notebook and his picture and them walking him into jail. But they didn't. This was clout chasing by the sheriff. And if they were really serious about it, they wouldn't have wasted time stocking the table with all those toys like it was a drug bust. That's my problem with it. That tells me Sheriff Chitwood isn't taking this seriously. It's all about getting on the news. It's all about getting on the news. Yeah, he's an 11 boy, yes. Fire Knight says, so should this be a school issue where the kid is suspended? I don't know. It all depends on what he did. If he's made enough of a threat that he breaks the law, then punish him. You just because you're a child doesn't mean you can't commit crimes. And if he's committing crimes, then punish him for them. But let's figure out what it is he's doing and actually focus on punishing him. Yes. Owen Reactor says he made real threats. Sure. Fine. But why'd you have to lay out all his toys? Because you're trying to scare people. Bella says no one cares about his airsoft guns. Sheriff Chitwood cares. Sheriff Chitwood cares about the guns. Sheriff Chitwood put them there because he knows you'll care about them.
You don't want to raise your kids? I'm going to start raising them. Every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. Doing Monday. And if I could, since parents, you don't want to raise your kid.
He's doing this to show it off and look scary and menacing. This is being done to be scary.
I'm going to start raising.
This is being done to scare and intimidate people. Oh no, he's got guns. He's hoping people aren't going to pay attention. Look at all the scary weapons this kid has. So that's the problem I have. He's doing this for a specific purpose. Everything has a purpose. If there's problems, address the problems. Don't make problems. So that's my point. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. JSD says, so what judge signed that search warrant for airsoft guns? They probably didn't. Those are evidence of him in the threats. I guarantee you he had threats where like he's holding each one of those. So they're allowed to seize that as evidence of like, look, this is that gun, the gun he was holding. We found it in his room. It's likely going to be seized as evidence, and that's fine. You don't need to lay it on a table like you busted Don Corleone is my problem. That's the issue here. And yes, that slingshot's the most dangerous thing that kid owns right now, I would argue. Start putting ball bearings in that, he's going to hurt somebody. Amika says, you don't need a search warrant if you have permission from the parents, too. Yeah, but I might get one anyway just to cross my T's and dot my I's. Because there are some times where they might be able to get away with it. And they might not be allowed to search. Or they might be restricted. So, just something to be careful about. Moving on to other Florida-related news, or tangentially Florida-ish related news. Former President Trump, his case in the classified documents case, if you guys remember, Judge Cannon dismissed it because claiming Jack Smith was not properly appointed as special prosecutor. And I remember we talked about this. You basically nuked it from orbit. Now, what did I also tell you? It's going to go up to the 11th Circuit, and it's going to come back down, and Trump's going to have to deal with it. Now, there's other issues about evidence, chain of custody, and other evidentiary concerns that Trump is going to be able to handle. But for right now, it's in the appeal stage. And the yahoos are starting to show up out of the woodwork. So this is for the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. And this is a appeal by the United States District Court for Southern Florida. Now, what's happened here? Well, if you guys see these names, parties are going to be allowed to file amicus briefs or amicus briefs, whatever you wish to call them. So the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington crew. If you guys are thinking, I remember those guys. You definitely do, because you know who they are. Remember, these are the people who screwed with Trump in Colorado. They're getting involved. There's other people getting involved as well. The constitutional lawyers, former government officials, and the State Democracy Defenders Action in support of the appellant is granted. So, and the appellant is the United States of America. So I can't wait for all the malding and seething and retarded nonsense that's going to bring. Oh, there will be coping and sneezing like none other, chat, and we'll get to it when it happens. As far as the case itself, Trump has sought an appeal or an extension in their response. Now, normally, guys, remember, when you file an appeal, the defendant's usually the one seeking the appeal. The state normally doesn't go after appeals. In this case, the case was dismissed against them, so Jack Smith had to file an appeal. Trump gets to file a response to that. He gets to file a brief in response. So they asked for more time, and his deadline for the first bid of extension, and normally also considered a motion to enlarge the time to file, was set for October 25th. Now, they might need even more time. Generally, courts will give you one. Like here in Ohio, a couple of the district courts that you deal with in the appellate districts, they'll give you one and they'll say no more will be granted absent extraordinary circumstances. So you better have good reasons. Now, Jack Smith is appealing Eileen Cannon's decision, arguing she bucked 50 years of precedent regarding special counsel appointments. And they argue that Attorney General Merrick Garland had the full authority to appoint Jack Smith. Jack Smith has already filed his brief in the case, and we'll take a look at that coming up. It's just a little premature. We've got like over a month and a half before Trump is due, so we'll take a look at it. And they also point out in this Hill article, the 11th Circuit has twice reversed Eileen Cannon already on this case for rulings. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see where this goes. So don't get too worried about it, chat. Like I said, it's coming back, and you shouldn't be surprised. Those were kind of out there arguments, not necessarily the best arguments either. So I wouldn't have made those arguments myself, but you can do what you want when you're in charge. Now, moving on from there, guys, if you guys were not aware, over on Sunday, President Trump, former President Trump, was golfing at the Trump International Golf Course in Palm Springs, West Palm Beach. And his Secret Service detail was out patrolling the property ahead of him. And they encountered a guy sitting in the bushes with an SKS rifle and basically like a little sniper hide. Well, very quickly and immediately, the Secret Service agent started shooting. And at that point, the guy fled. He was not able to shoot at Trump. Trump was like 500 yards away, if any closer. And who did they catch? Well, they eventually caught the gunman that was there, and they caught this guy. And this is a picture of him sitting in the back of the police car. His name's Ryan Routh. And if you didn't know anything about him, you're like, huh, is he glowy? Maybe. Well, there are pictures of him where he goes to Ukraine. Oh, hey, Jeff, how you doing? Legal Vices. Good to see you, Jeff. Hope you're doing well. Mark says you didn't hear about it on the news? Well, yeah. So, anyways, they caught him about 45 minutes north of West Palm Beach, and they did find him, and his history is very, very, very interesting. His views, things about him, well, we could sum it up with this picture here. Yes, chat, he is a Ukraine bro with blue and yellow hair and running around Kiev, Ukraine, not Kiev, Kiev, trying to help recruit people for the International Legion. You're trying to recruit fighters for various efforts in and around Ukraine. And there's multiple pictures of him out there protesting and raising awareness and assisting with the recruitment efforts and basically the propaganda campaigns. And where is the best picture of him? So there are some phenomenal pictures of him that are out there, chat, including this one here, taken in Ukraine with, yes, world help us. Along with that thing right there. Huh, what is that? What's that big yellow flag, chat? What's that big yellow flag? What's that big yellow flag? Well, you see the name's Mariupol, and then you also see the name in the back, Azovstal. Well, that was a steel plant in Mariupol that was being defended by members of the Azov Brigade, which the Azov Brigade is a bunch of Ukrainian Nazis who their symbol is the wolf's angle, which is a traditional Nazi symbol and white supremacist symbol. And apparently it's okay to have those now. So yes, he was tooling around with Ukrainian Nazis. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yes, the same ones we're arming, but they, the Americans are full of Nazis. We won't arm them, but hey, if you're a Ukrainian Nazi, here you go. And yes, this is him with his puppy dog facing, please, world, help Ukraine. Ooh, woo. Was he in the cover? I don't know. Maybe. We don't really know. Yes, but they're the good kind of Nazis because Russia is bad. Yes. Yes, they're not Nazis. They are Ukrainian nationalists. Yes, but they're, hey, remember what people were saying for the longest time. If you wear Nazi symbols, you're a Nazi. I'm just using that logic. So anyways, Routh was back in America, and he was very upset that Trump could possibly win and was going to screw with what is going on in the war in Ukraine and basically leave the Ukrainians hanging out to dry. So he decided to take matters into his own hands and show up outside Trump's golf course with a rifle. And he got charged with a couple different things, including, and here we go with what he got charged with. So on September 15th in Palm Beach County in the Southern District of Florida, what was he charged with? He's charged with 2 violations of law many of you probably have never heard of before or wouldn't think about, is the possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, a convicted felon. So 18 U.S.C. 922G. And then 18 U.S.C. 922K, the possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. And yes, at the federal level, possessing a firearm with an obliterated serial number is illegal. Now, some of you might say, well, Sean, your 3D printing gun, yes. This back here, does that have a serial number? No. But unlike those, it never had a serial number, so I can't obliterate it. There was never anything to obliterate. So what? Hold on, here we go. So here is his complaint and what they're charging him with, and this is such an awkward. It's so funny that's such a shitty little scam, but anyway, this is the affiant. His name's Mark Thomas. He's an FBI agent, so he's a glowy, just like Ryan Routh was. I'm sure, and as J-Rock said, yes, I agree with J-Rock. It's totally like he did this all on his own, chat. No, he was 100% lone wolf. No help from anyone ever. No help from anyone ever. It was totally all on his own, chat. So, what do we know happened here? Well, Ryan Routh is a convicted felon in violation of 18 U.S.C. 922 G1 and possession and receipt of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Now, here's the issue. Under Bruin, these are both unconstitutional laws. So I hope his attorneys make a Bruin challenge and he gets acquitted. That would be absolutely hilarious, wouldn't it? Because we already know in the Fifth Circuit, they have let a felon own a firearm. Now, the probable cause here, so they talk about this, and there's some very interesting facts we can learn about here, chat, because we talked about this. And I had brought up the idea, maybe he was waiting there a long time, because how would he know Trump is coming by to golf that day? And he wouldn't be able just to walk in during the daytime, so maybe he hit earlier. Maybe he stashed his weapons and gear and showed up later. We don't really know the full story yet. Well, anyway, at around 1:30 p.m., a Secret Service agent was walking the perimeter and saw what appeared to be a rifle poking out of the tree line. And there's a picture that's going to be down below. It's not the best, but this is his rifle. And yes, he was probably just shoving it through the fence. So the agent fired his service weapon at the direction of the rifle, and Routh fled the area and entered a Nissan SUV and took off. So while he got there, they found a digital camera, which is actually a GoPro, 2 backpacks, including a backpack and then a loaded SKS-style rifle with a scope, and a black plastic bag containing food. Basically, he had a little self-contained hide site here. Not the most sophisticated, but it got the job done. Nobody saw him. So he probably was laying low and just hiding in the woods and the hedges around there. Now, they point out the FBI agent saying that I'm aware the SKS styles rifles are not manufactured in Florida. Therefore, I have probable cause to believe these were previously traveled in interstate or foreign commerce, which, yes, there are no SKSs made in America, or Florida. So why is... Oh, that's why it's not working. So they stopped him and they get through everything and they talk about here, well, let's figure out what happened. So during the investigation, law enforcement discovered a publicly viewable Facebook post on July 10th where Routh directed his followers to contact him on WhatsApp at the following number. Too bad we don't get it. Too bad we don't get it. And they checked the number, and he is the subscriber of that T-Mobile number. So what did they find out? Well, they find out tracking that he had that phone with him. Remember, guys, this is a tattling machine. This will tell them all kinds of things about you. So he was in the tree line from nearly 2 a.m. until 1:30 that day. He sat there for 12 hours waiting. That's dedication. That's not easy. Maximilian says, how did he smuggle in a foreign weapon? You could buy it's not smuggled in. It was imported in by an import company. Back when I was in high school, you could buy an SKS for $75. It's a 10-shot semi-automatic rifle with an internal magazine. Although he looks like he's got like a Norinco model where he's using AK magazines. SKSs are not super cheap anymore. They're expensive. They're like $400 at least now. But they used to be dirt cheap. So review of law enforcement indices indicate that on or about December 20th, 2002, Routh was convicted in North Carolina of possession of a weapon of mass destruction in violation of North Carolina law, a Class F felony. He could have faced up to 5 years in prison for that. Now, what was a weapon of mass destruction? Likely using some sort of semi-automatic rifle or a short-barrel rifle or sawed-off shotgun. And it was in some situation where he did that and likely had a standoff with the police, from what we've been able to tell. So that they also point out that on March 3rd, 2010, he was convicted of multiple counts of possession of stolen goods in violation, again, of North Carolina statutes as a Class H felony, meaning he could have faced imprisonment of up to 39 months incarceration. Now, they talk about, remember, this is very quick and very down and dirty. The rifle, oh, geez, come on. So I talk about the serial number was obliterated and unable to be read by the naked eye, which is good enough for them to get probable cause. But they also point out he has 2 felony convictions that were punishable by more than 12 months in prison. It's more than 12 months. So that's why they're pointing out exactly how long it is to show there's 2 separate felonies. And therefore, they point out that he was in possession of a firearm by a convicted felon under 18 U.S.C. 922 G1, and possession and receipt of a firearm with an obliterated serial number in violation of 18 U.S.C. 922 K. Both unconstitutional. I hope he wins and crushes them. Was this guy wearing a pager? No, he was not. Bella saying, I still think Ukraine and the zeal of virtue signal are behind this. Oh, yes, he is 100%. This guy glows. He glows 100%. He is the glowiest glowy that ever glowed. Oh, it's bad. It's not looking good, especially in the aftermath of everything that we've been through so far. This is just no bueno, chat. No bueno. Now, moving on to kind of like a brief preview of his future, I'm presuming he doesn't get killed in prison or killed awaiting trial. Ghislaine Maxwell, she had lost her appeal against her sex trafficking convictions. The court upheld her convictions. They said there was nothing wrong. Procedurally, everything was done properly. And back in 2022, she got sentenced to 20 years in prison. And that was because she helped Jeffrey Epstein groom a couple of girls for his island between 1994 and 2004. She did try to argue that the non-prosecution agreement that was signed and covered Epstein covered her. But the court pointed out that the crimes fell within the statute of limitations and that argument did not cover Maxwell. It only covered Jeffrey Epstein. So womp, 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 womp. Yes. They're going to say they don't care. Remember, Luke is saying this ruling is bullshit, by the way. Yes, it was. I read through it. We're probably going to cover it on its own. But just remember, chat. Just remember, courts will do what they can to uphold the current status quo. They are not big on overturning things. So even if it is bullshit, they're going to let it slide. Now, if you guys don't remember this, this is when local authorities and a U.S. attorney helped to make the agreement, but they're saying it doesn't count. So Ghislaine Maxwell is going to stay in prison. She's not going to get a Supreme Court appeal. So all done for her. Then this is kind of a big First Amendment issue here. The creator of a Kamala Harris parody video is suing the state of California. And California has passed some really crazy AI and computer-related laws lately. And what is he suing about? Well, he's suing because the state of California has made it illegal and restricted the use of digitally altered political deepfakes. So the argument is that if we stop people from making deepfakes in political campaigns, that will help protect politicians, because nowadays you can get people to say almost anything with the right AI and computer equipment. So California passed a law. Remember, this is one of the biggest problems, that there ought to be a law. Well, this law violates the First Amendment. And Christopher Coles, who goes by the name of Mr. Reagan on Twitter, has been at the center of the debate over the elections and using AI-generated material because he posted a video calling it a parody of a Harris campaign ad. Where did I have it? Because I think I just lost it. Now, this is... No, where is the thing here? Because I'm trying to find it. And this is the actual thing he did, guys. So here's his Kamala Harris ad, which he did. That was very funny. So I have seen this before.
I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility of the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time. Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking. The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring. And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean, Joe Biden. You think the country went to over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
So that is the thing he put together. And based on the state law, Benjamin Lewis is like, but wait, that's extremely accurate. Yes, I know. That's why there's a problem. That's why there's a problem here. He's appealing. The government's like, wait, you were too correct. The video was shared by Elon Musk without calling it a parody, and it attracted the ire of Gavin Newsom, who vowed to ban such content because he made fun of his friend, and he got big mad, chat. He got so mad. And yes, this falls under a law targeting fraudulent campaign materials. And that's how they're getting around this, claiming, no. This is not a First Amendment issue, chat. They're trying to say this isn't a First Amendment issue. This is about combating fraudulent election material because that's not fair. Huh. Donkiness as the video checks out. Yeah. Well, now he's suing, arguing the government is trying to make computer-generated parody illegal. Asserting political satire is a fundamental First Amendment right. It is. The right to seek redress against your government engaged in political speech through satire is one of the oldest ways to do it. And that was clearly satire. So he was seeking permanent injunctions on Tuesday. And the law in question is called the Defending Democracy from Deepfake Deception Act. Specifies that it does not apply to satire or parody content. It requires online platforms to remove or label deceptive digitally altered media during certain periods before and after an election. Well, all it takes is the government to say, that's digitally altered. There's a watermark, chat. It's altered. Got to remove it. Got to remove it. So, but they also point out you can use the word parody underneath the actual video to avoid further misleading the public as the video is shared. It's unclear why this conservative activist is suing California. This new disclosure law for election misinformation isn't any more onerous than laws already passed in other states, including Alabama. Well, it's okay because we're fucking you too. It's all right. It's all right, chat. Yes, Mwatamox. The Whatamox. Oh, no. Yes, it's parody, morons. Yes, it's 100% parody. So, yes, that is the very interesting comments here about what's going on there. It is very, very interesting in that regard. So, we'll see how that works. The sad thing is this is not going to get resolved before the election's over. But I also have the feeling they're not going to prosecute this guy, so he can keep making him doing what he wants to do. Granola is saying, as off Nazis that don't realize they're working for fascists. Yes. Over also on Rumble. Andradite is saying, to be honest, blunt metal could still fuck you up. Oh, yeah, those blunt swords could still be dangerous. And he's also saying Chitwood is trying too hard for an election. Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense why we're doing this here, too. The Jay Chaser says, defending democracy by the party determined to kill their opponent if they can't put him in prison. Yes, very, very true. Very true. Jirex says, can we watch it again? No, we're not. We'll watch it again on Locals. Yes, Lesko's alive. Hi, David. Hope you're doing well. All right, chat. So, update in the news. This is for you, Brimstone. I know you're out there. This is for you, buddy, just so you're aware. The first federal trial over the Illinois assault weapons ban begins this week. So this is going out in East St. Louis. If you guys remember, Illinois passed an assault weapons ban and a large, and a basically standard capacity magazine ban, and multiple lawsuits were filed, and all those lawsuits crashed and burned right away. Well, one of them's still alive and out in East St. Louis, so not in the Lou, but pretty close, across the river. The case is moving along and is getting ready to go to trial. So we will see what happens with that, but I want you guys to be aware the lawsuit's going, and we have not. I've not had a chance to look into all the documents that have been filed, but it is very interesting that it's happening, and we're going to see what causes things to change, and hopefully a lot changes. And it should be a decent judge. It's a Trump appointee, so hopefully he applies Bruin properly. But we will see what happens there. So it'll be a great day. Hopefully you guys in Illinois get your stuff again soon. You know, just want to let you know we're thinking about you guys. Yes, Enormous says that's what we call fellas and gals from East St. Louis. Yes. Distant says East St. Louis is worse than St. Louis. Oh, yes. East St. Louis is a very dangerous town compared to St. Louis and other cities. East St. Louis is pretty rough. Yeah, there's no question about that. There's no question about that. Oh, there's no question about that. And then, if you guys don't remember this case, this is one we're talking about from before. If you guys don't remember the case of Bianca Ellis, she's the woman who was in the parking lot of a grocery store here in Cleveland, and she stabbed a little kid to death with a butcher knife she bought at the local Goodwill. Well, and if you guys don't remember her, I'm gonna just so you guys can remember. You guys will remember when you see her. But yeah, here.
Going back to case number.
Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney? Have you received your indictment? I don't. Okay, have you read it? No. You have not read it, okay? We have a copy here.
No, those are her
read it.
tits. No, those are her titties, chat. She's not pregnant.
You don't want to read it? Are you willing to accept that the public defender has read it to you? I'm sorry. You asked her not to. Well, but she did read it to you, correct? No. She didn't read it to you. Okay, well, we can read it in open court.
If you guys don't remember, that's her. Well, she was just, and people were losing their minds over this, but she was just found, like Matthew Harris, to be found incompetent to stand trial. Now, that doesn't mean she's going to be considered not guilty by reason of insanity, but she's incompetent to stand trial, but they believe her to be restorable, meaning with medication, she could be brought back to a place mentally where she can help her attorneys mount a defense. So she's been charged with a bunch of different felonies. She's also been charged with aggravated murder, which means she might be eligible for the death penalty if the state decides to choose to go forward and do that. With this count here of aggravated murder, like that's a serious count to get here in Ohio. That's a tough one. That one's a real. That's a for real. So the issue is this is a journal entry from the court, and this is how they're done here in this place, and it looks different from the other ones you've seen. They talk about on September 16th, 2024. This came before the court, and she was at North Coast. The defendant was at North Coast Behavioral Health Care. That's the local mental hospital. So a representative of the behavioral hospital completed a capacity assessment for forced medication regarding the defendant's ability to give or withhold informed consent regarding her treatment. So she's refusing her treatment, and they're pointing out that we might have to forcibly medicate her and shove pills down her throat. So it's going to be very interesting what they do there. They said that there are multiple evaluations by doctors, and they said that the involuntary administration of drugs is medically appropriate for the defendant's condition. The medication is substantially likely to render the defendant competent to stand trial, and it's substantially unlikely to have side effects that will interfere significantly with the defendant's ability to assist counsel in conducting a trial defense. Okay, but what else is it going to do to her? It's going to make her fucking even crazier. So, yes, that is what happened. She's going to be forcibly medicated. And the court points out that there is an important governmental interest in the prosecution of a defendant for serious crimes, such as these, and that voluntary medication is necessary to further the government's interest. So they're going to force pills into her and force medication into her to balance her out. Now, here's the thing. Even if she gets declared competent, she can still get not guilty by reason of insanity because she may have been able to get out of that state. Now, very likely, if you're competent to stand trial, you're generally probably not going to win or not guilty by reason of insanity argument, but there's always a possibility. Always possible. Nothing short of ratchet straps are holding that stuff up. Yes. So anyways, yes, guys, she is there. If you guys were wondering what was happening with the case, I know a couple of you are asking me if I was covering it. I will cover it as it goes along, but for right now, there isn't a whole lot there. There isn't a whole lot there. Why was she whispering the whole time? Because she's a loon. Because she's a loon. And then she later on in the hearing, she's like all like, because she's a little bit of a loon and she wants to be difficult. Could she borrow my suspenders? I don't know if those are going to be enough for her. So remember, and if she gets found not guilty by reason of insanity, chat, remember, she's going to get put in a mental hospital and they're going to evaluate her. And here at some point they will release her. But if she gets convicted of a homicide, like a murder offense, she will be subject to court supervision for the rest of her life. And they will evaluate her every year upon her release to make sure they don't have to send her back. So there's a lot of issues there. It's a lot of issues. Now, this is the thing that just broke before we started. We got the one last thing, chat. One last thing. This is pretty freaking crazy. This is pretty freaking crazy what happened. Holy cow. Holy cow, chat. So a county down in southern Kentucky. It's known as Lecter County. And if you guys don't know where that's at, you know, here is the great state of Kentucky, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. You know, here it is. Here's Kentucky. There's Kentucky, chat. Okay. This is Lecter County. Okay. Now, this is down in the holler. And here's something very interesting. If you guys don't understand where this is at, this is down like in the holler, because next door to it, from if you've ever watched Justified, and you know, as the songs go, you know, Harlan County, Kentucky is right here. This is Harlan County, Kentucky. You are down in the holler, you know, where the sun comes up about 10 in the morning and it goes down about 3 that next day. You are down there, chat. You are down there in the middle of, you're down there. Just so you understand the geography of where we're looking at. Well, what happened today? Well, the sheriff of Lecter County, Raylan knows where it is, yes. The sheriff of Lecter County is accused of murdering a judge today. And that's the funny part. So there was a shooting at the courthouse. We were thinking, how the hell did somebody get a gun inside a courthouse past the metal detectors? Well, law enforcement gets to carry one in. And guess what? The sheriff is a law enforcement officer. So he strolled in the courthouse through the metal detectors and then met with the judge, went into their chambers. They had an argument and pop, 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 pop. And the sheriff came out and surrendered. And this is a picture of the courthouse. And also, if you guys were not aware, it's got a very interesting name for a town. The capital of Lecter County is Whitesburg. Whitesburg. But getting back to this. There is a concern about, like, how did this all happen? We don't know yet. So, Lecter District Judge Kevin Mullins was shot and killed by Lecter County Sheriff Mickey Steins, and the shooting occurred in the judge's chambers about 3 p.m. Steins walked into the judge's outer office and told court employees he needs to speak with the judge alone. That's not uncommon for county officials to talk to each other and run into each other. Steins walked out of the courthouse with his hands up and surrendered without incident to police and was handcuffed in the foyer. Mullins had been a judge since 2010, and Steins have been sheriff since 2019. So it's very interesting what happened there. Like, this happened like that. Yes, the county seat. Plead the fifth says, I prefer to be handcuffed in the back. Yeah, well, you can, whatever you want to do it. Neo Dark Man saying it was a throuple. Might have been. Something really bad happened for him to want to go in there and just kill the guy like that. And not hide it or make it look like it was someone else. And if you guys weren't aware of what they looked like, here is a picture of Judge Mullins. And then here's also a picture of Sheriff Steins. There's a couple other pictures, but these are basically the two guys you're looking at. Now, there were other things, there were other updates as part of this. And this right here, we're just going to listen to it for a couple of minutes. This guy has the most interesting voice ever. This is one of the Kentucky State Police, and he's discussing what's going on here.
Tell us so far about the investigation.
This investigation today, Kentucky State Police Post 13 has received a call shortly before 3 p.m. In reference to shots being fired inside the Letcher County Courthouse. Multiple law enforcement agencies from around the area, along with emergency services, responded to the area and located District Judge Kevin Mullins with several gunshot wounds. Life-saving measures were taken, however, were unsuccessful. He was pronounced deceased on scene by Letcher County Coroner's Office. At that time, preliminary investigation indicated that Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Sean Steins fired at District Judge Kevin Mullins following an argument inside the courthouse.
Now, was there any motive, or was this just did he go there to do that, or what do you?
At this time, that's questions that we're still trying to get answers to. What led up to the actual shooting itself and the moments prior to.
Sir, did the shooting take place inside the judge's chambers?
That's correct.
Was anyone else present?
There was other people present inside the building as well.
But not inside the chambers?
Not that I'm aware of.
Is there video, a camera that's inside that chamber?
As far as I'm aware, I think there is video from within the facility.
Are you able to tell us where those guns?
Now, there's going to be video of the sheriff walking through the courthouse, probably walking into the outer offices of the judge's chambers, but there's not going to be a camera in judge's chambers. I highly doubt there would be one. I wouldn't want one in there if I was a judge. So, but yes, I just thought this dude has the most deepest voice ever. Shade Chaser's I was not expecting that deep a voice. Android says, I'd vote for that sheriff. Yes. Did the sheriff only need one bullet? Because that's amazing for an officer. No, apparently the judge was shot multiple times. So someone mentioned this is a possible Brokeback Mountain crime. Interesting. I've heard a couple different things. This might be Brokeback Mountain-ish, that also the judge may have touched someone that was very important to the sheriff. We don't really know. We don't really know. Kaz is saying he should join a quintet. Yes. Yes. You got Felt that says, wait, just joined. What happened? A sheriff walked into a judge's chambers in a courthouse and killed the judge. And Michael Boyle says, is there any body cam video? That would be hilarious if there was body cam. I doubt there is. It wouldn't surprise me if these police departments barely have dash cams that work half the time. This trooper is going to become a meme. I could see that. Yes, I could totally see that. I could definitely see that. Patty says innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, well, we'll see. Oh, so anyways, guys, yes, this one's going to be crazy. I can't wait to hear what unfolds from this because I'm sure it's only going to get better and better and better as we go forward. So the judge looks like a diddler. I hate to say it. Yeah, it does look weird. It does look weird. The whole thing just seems a little sketchy. Amon Redzu says no Baldoverse updates. Nah, there's nothing really, guys. All quiet on the Western Front. Aaron had his omnibus today, and apparently it's getting kicked out for a while. So, yeah, nothing. Nothing today. SB Seller says, you never felt like doing that? No. 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 And Norman says, is there any way the sheriff could get out of doing time for this? I mean, if he claims like they went to go talk and then the judge tried to reach for his gun, or maybe he's going to say like, I came to arrest the judge and he made a furtive movement. So I said, let me see your hands. And the judge said no. So I shot him. I don't know. Maybe he can make that bullshit argument. J-Rock says, another win for the toe. So we don't actually know what happened yet, guys. But I think this is out of a book. You know, just like the craziness of it. You know, the corrupt sheriff goes and murders a corrupt judge or something. It's just very, very weird. It's very weird. Salty says Nick is streaming tonight, allegedly. Yeah, well, you know, remember, it's like people say, I'll pay you. It's they've only paid you when you got cash in hand, so we'll see. Bella says, I need to be his defense lawyer. That would be so much. That would be a lot of fun. Like, there's no question. You walked in there, closed the door, and then bam, blam, 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 blam. And the door opens, and you come walking out going, that's, yeah. Demon's Rest says, what do you mean you won't suck my dick, bish? That's going to be great. It's going to be great. Elise Walker, or Elsie Walker. Is it Elise or Elsie? I think it's Elise. Says, my mom went to high school with the judge. Well, that's awesome. I hope your mom wasn't really good friends with him. If she really liked him, my condolences if they were really good friends. Someone's going to make a country song about this. Deanna says, do a update on our girl, Sarah Boone. You know what we will do tomorrow? We'll cover Sarah Boone because she had another hearing and it was actually very interesting what happened. So I think it's worth covering on its own again. Fire and Ice says, why can't Ohio have the cool cases? Sean could be the defense attorney. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I could waive into Kentucky at this point. I've been practicing more than 5 years. I haven't had disciplinary issues. So I think I can waive into Kentucky if I just pay a little bit of money. But I'm curious to know how far away am I from Whitesburg, Kentucky? God, it's got to be 9. Oh, it's only 7 hours, chat, from where I live down to Whitesburg, Kentucky. Taking 77 all the way down. That's pretty interesting. Taking 77 all the way down. Pretty far to where, yeah. Okay. Taking 77 down to Charleston, Kentucky, and then the rest of the way down. That could be done. That's a long way to go, though, chat. Yeah, only 7 hours. Ingrid says, can you practice in Michigan? I bet I could at this point as well, because I think it was the same similar requirements. But if you need an attorney up in Michigan, David, over at Lego Law, David Helm, does work up there, up in the Ann Arbor and Oakland County areas. There's also Richard Hogue. You guys need more tech-related stuff. He's up there in Michigan as well. Sarah's won't quit. The most enchanting smile. Calm yourself, sir. Calm yourself. All right, chat. So we are all done. We are all done. We are all caught up. We got it done in under 2 hours today, chat. We were flying. We covered all kinds of stuff here. I think we did a pretty good job. Kaz saying, can we hit the goal? I don't know. But we're going to get these super chats here real quick. Okay. Let's see here. Natasha says for $2, the Diddy and Kelly prison albums Golden Showers. Yes, well, here's the neat thing. Diddy and I believe R. Kelly already collaborated on a record before. So that'll work out. That'll work out. And then EDW Raptor says those are Yilong Mapandas. Atomic says saying one kid will be innocent, then what? Defund the schools. Sneed Truck says some of you guys are all right. Don't come to school tomorrow. Don't go to YouTube tomorrow. It's like, oh no. He's gonna have a flagging attack. Dewey says, remember children, lead your target. Yes. Debbie says, sent the KY judge share story to your ex's DM if you don't already have it. Yeah, I was watching that like as it started hitting everywhere. I was like, what the hell is this? It was so cool. Ag Biochemist is just a table full of plastic, guys. Yes, the airsoft guns and the fake swords. And Super Wiener says, I'm publicly humiliating the audits with an airsoft fix. Making is definitely not going to make him a higher risk at all. Yes. KRS says, everybody around sounds like a neocon group. Yeah, that's the scary part. That is the scary part. Red says, Baldotarians hate arresting criminals. Well, yeah. Let's go to the police and talk about them. Old Line Road says, oh, I effing hate Crew. They've been around forever. Yeah, but they've really been active lately. Benjamin Lewis says, is Ron DeSantis right for wanting Florida to prosecute? I mean, they both could prosecute, but initially Megyn Kelly had on the West Palm Beach County DA, and he said, we're going to let the feds take over, which less crap he's got to deal with, but I could see them getting yanked around to deal with the Florida state stuff soon at some point, but who knows what's going to happen? We really don't know yet. Maddie's saying this law is called a prior restraint. Yes, I think that's a fair assessment of it as well. Yes, this video checks out. This is more articulated than the real pitch. KYS leader says, it's a new member. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And D for $5 says, that's cool and all, but if we thought about sending her to pasture, then shipping meat to Springfield, I'm sure the Haitians miss their barbecue. Maybe that would help. Fallen Preacher says in the greatest Judge Dredd voice ever, court's adjourned. Yes, is this a base sheriff? That's Kentucky Justice. Is it the county seat? Yes, it's the county seat. Fallen Preacher says Hannibal Lecter County. Yes. Let's Go Brandon says the judge tried to take his gun. Maybe. Who knows what happened? Yeah, he's just they're standing there talking about golf. They're gonna go golf next week. And the judge is like, "Give me your gun." He just grabs it because you can't like in the back of his mind. It's like grab the gun, 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 grab the gun. It's going off in his head. We all have that chat. All you men out there know that when you walk by a police officer and it's right there, you just hear grab the gun, 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 grab the gun. You're like, no, I don't want to do that. Amos is saying 100% the judge touched his kid. Yeah. Yes. Michael Will says so the judge is the Shield Show morning show guy. Jeez. Boo. Oh, you guys need to work on your jokes. Oh. Patty says you can serve Christ or Israel. Choose. Okay, well, don't disagree with that logic. All right, chat. So I think that's it. We're all caught up. Trying to pop my jaw. So, guys, we're all caught up. Thank you all for being here. Everybody over in locals. Shade Chaser says go to get a pilot's license. Save time. Yeah, that'll help me out there. We're gonna go all night, chat. Well, yes. Did I listen to the King Crimson song the other night? Yes, I did. It's a good song. I like it. All right, guys. So we are all set. Thank you again for everybody being here. Everybody on Twitch, Rumble, and everybody on Twitch. Looks like 2 of you tonight. Thank you for being here. And last but not least, people on locals. And then, guys, you guys here on YouTube. You make this all worthwhile. Guys, if you weren't here chatting with me, this would be a boring show. I thank you all for being here. Like I said, we do this every Thursday night at 9:30 if you are new. We do stuff over the weekends at times, but we generally try to have stuff going on during the week, especially in the afternoons or later at night. So please stop by every Thursday night. It's always a good time. And guys, thank you for all the memberships. Thank you for all the super chats. I appreciate all the support. It truly means so much when you guys do that. And not enough Clyde. Well, Clyde's on his own time, man. I'm not gonna boss him around. Anyway, thank you all for being here and chat. Remember, until next time, I said it over 131 times. It's pretty cool in a row. Just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Even if you smoke check the judge, and I mean you punch his ticket in his own chambers inside a courthouse, you're still not guilty. At least for now. Guys, I will see you over on locals. Good night, chat. Good night, everybody. Enjoy your guys' weekend. Take care, guys. Take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?